You used to be able to sit with a book for 2 hours. Now you cannot get through 3 paragraphs without reaching for your phone. You start a task, lose the thread within minutes, and spend the rest of the day recovering focus that never fully returns. You have probably blamed yourself for this. Lack of discipline, weak willpower, a personality that just cannot concentrate. That is the wrong diagnosis, and because it is wrong, every solution you have tried has failed. Your attention span is not a character trait, it is a biological system, and that system is being systematically dismantled by something you interact with dozens of times every day. Chapter 1. What social media and phones do to your attention span. Your brain runs on dopamine, and dopamine is a prediction signal, not a pleasure signal. Every time something unexpected and rewarding happens, your brain releases dopamine not in response to the reward, but in anticipation of it. This is the mechanism behind habit formation, motivation, and focused behavior. Smartphones exploit this system with surgical precision. Every notification, every scroll, every refresh is an unpredictable reward event. Variable reward schedules, the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive, generate stronger dopaminergic responses than fixed, predictable rewards. Your brain is not weak for responding to this. It is doing exactly what 4 million years of evolution built it to do. The problem is that the stimulus environment has changed faster than the brain's regulatory systems can adapt. Nora Volkov at the National Institute on Drug Abuse has documented how chronic exposure to high-stimulation, high-novelty digital environments downregulates dopamine receptor sensitivity in the prefrontal cortex, the same mechanism observed in substance addiction. Your brain reduces its own responsiveness to dopamine in an attempt to compensate for the chronic overload. The result is that ordinary tasks, the kind that used to hold your attention without effort, no longer generate enough dopaminergic signal to sustain engagement. You are not bored because the task is boring. You are bored because your reward system has been recalibrated to a stimulation threshold that ordinary life cannot meet. Chapter 2. How chronic distraction rewires the brain. This is where it stops being about phones and starts being about architecture. Attention is not a fixed resource you either have or do not have. It is a capacity built and maintained by specific neural circuits, primarily in the prefrontal cortex and the anterior cingulate cortex, that govern sustained focus, task switching, and the suppression of irrelevant stimuli. These circuits follow the same principle as every other neural system. What gets used gets strengthened, what gets neglected gets pruned. Gloria Mark at UC Irvine has documented that the average person now switches tasks every 47 seconds when working with digital devices, down from 2.5 minutes a decade ago. Every task switch is a signal to your brain that sustained attention is not required. Over months and years of this pattern, the neural circuits responsible for deep focus are used less and less. They weaken through disuse. At the same time, the circuits governing rapid attention switching, responsiveness to novelty, and shallow processing are being exercised constantly. They strengthen. Your brain becomes structurally better at distraction and structurally worse at depth. This is not a metaphor. Michael Merzenich at UC San Francisco, one of the world's leading researchers on neuroplasticity, has documented how the adult brain continues to reorganize its architecture in response to habitual patterns of use. The brain you are building with every hour of fragmented attention is a brain that finds sustained focus genuinely difficult, not because you lack willpower, but because the circuits that produce it have been systematically deprioritized. Chapter 3. Why willpower is not the solution. Here is what makes this particularly difficult to fix. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for both sustained attention and the inhibition of distraction. It is the region you are trying to use to resist your phone, and it is the region most degraded by the chronic dopamine dysregulation your phone has produced. You are trying to use a weakened tool to fix the damage caused by the thing that weakened it. This is why telling yourself to just focus more does not work. It is not a motivation problem. It is a neurological resource problem. The advice to use more willpower when willpower is the depleted resource is not just unhelpful, it compounds the problem by adding a layer of shame to a structural deficit. The solution is not effort, it is environmental and neurological recalibration. Chapter 4: How to Rebuild Your Attention Span with Neuroscience. The first intervention is the most uncomfortable: extended periods of deliberate boredom. When you remove high stimulation input and allow your brain to sit with low stimulation without immediately reaching for a substitute, you begin recalibrating dopamine receptor sensitivity. Psychiatrist Anna Lembke at Stanford, author of research on dopamine and compulsive behavior, identifies this recalibration period as essential and uncomfortable. The discomfort is withdrawal. It is also evidence that the recalibration is working. Start with one 20-minute period daily with no phone, no content, no background audio. Walking without headphones, sitting without a screen. The goal is not relaxation, it is tolerance of low stimulation. Second, rebuild sustained attention through progressive overload. Choose one task daily that requires unbroken focus. Start at 15 minutes, extend by 5 minutes each week. This is not a productivity exercise, it is a neural training protocol. You are exercising the anterior cingulate cortex and prefrontal circuits that chronic distraction has allowed to weaken. Third, restructure your environment before you rely on your willpower. Phone in another room during focus blocks. Notifications off by default, not silenced on request. The research on habit and environment by Wendy Wood at USC shows that environmental design outperforms motivation every time. Do not fight the pull, remove it. Your 24-hour challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, spend 20 minutes doing one thing that requires your full attention: reading a physical book, writing by hand, a single focused task with no open tabs. Do not reach for your phone when the discomfort arrives. That discomfort is your prefrontal cortex beginning to rebuild. 20 minutes, one task, no phone. That's where your attention span comes back from. Your attention span is not gone. It has been restructured by an environment that profits from its fragmentation. The same neuroplasticity that allowed chronic distraction to weaken your focus can rebuild it, but only with inputs that run in the opposite direction. Less stimulation, more depth, longer holds, repeated consistently until the brain recalibrates to a new normal. That process starts with understanding what actually happened. Now you do. If this is the channel you have been looking for, subscribe. Every video here is the science underneath what you are experiencing and exactly what to do about it.